Syria. Multiple reports say President Bashar al-Assad's government has been
مبروك الدور جاي عليكم.
For over a decade, Syria was synonymous with war, displacement, and unrelenting tragedy. But now, something historic has happened. Bashar al-Assad, the man who ruled Syria with an iron fist for 24 years, has been overthrown. The world is watching as the future of Syria hangs in the balance. This is the story of Syria from 2011 to 2024. Everything you need to know. It all began in 2011. Inspired by the Arab Spring sweeping across the Middle East, Syrians took to the streets, demanding democracy, freedom, and an end to the Assad regime. What started as peaceful protests quickly spiraled into a brutal crackdown. Security forces opened fire on demonstrators, leading to mass arrests, torture, and killings. The world watched in horror as peaceful calls for reform turned into civil war. By mid-2012, rebel groups like the Free Syrian Army had formed, and the country was now in a full-scale war. Syria wasn't just fighting itself. Foreign powers jumped in. The US, Turkey, and Gulf states backed the rebels, while Russia, Iran, and Hezbollah propped up Assad. This proxy war would shape Syria's future for years to come.
Final withdrawal. Islamists have been gaining ground.
Tribesmen have seized control of the police station.
Militants are using the sectarian strife to gain a foothold.
2014 brought a new terror to Syria, the rise of ISIS. The Islamic State declared a caliphate spanning Syria and Iraq, bringing unimaginable brutality, mass executions, slavery, and terror attacks worldwide. The United States led an international coalition to wipe them out, launching thousands of airstrikes. At the same time, Russia stepped in to support Assad, turning the tide of the war in his favor. Russian warplanes pounded rebel strongholds, and Assad's forces regained key cities like Aleppo. The city's ancient streets were left in ruins, its people forced to flee. The conflict had become a complex web of proxy wars, with multiple nations vying for influence. As the war raged on, the Syrian people were left to pick up the pieces, their future hanging precariously in the balance. By 2018, Assad's grip on Syria seemed stronger than ever. With Russian air power and Iranian support, Assad's regime controlled 70 to 80% of the country. The opposition was cornered in Idlib, but the cost of victory was clear. Syria lay in ruins. Cities were reduced to rubble, and over 13 million people had been displaced. Economic collapse soon followed. Sanctions from the US and the European Union, combined with rampant corruption, left Syrians struggling to survive. But beneath the surface, resentment was growing. Public protests re-emerged in areas like Suwaida and Daraa. These were once loyal Assad strongholds, but food shortages, inflation, and fuel crises had pushed people to the edge. The seeds of rebellion had been planted again. In late 2024, everything changed. Rebel groups, including Hay'at Tahrir al-Sham, HTS, launched a massive offensive, catching Assad's forces off guard. Cities fell quickly, and within weeks, Damascus was surrounded. The once unshakable regime crumbled.
The big prize, the capital Damascus, fell without a fight. The Syrian army nowhere to be seen.
Reports emerged that Assad had fled to Russia, leaving his generals to negotiate their surrender. For the first time since 2000, Syria is without Assad. The rebel coalition, led by HTS's Abu Muhammad al-Julani, announced a transitional government to bring stability. But questions remain. Can HTS, with its controversial past, form a legitimate government? Will Syria find peace, or will it face yet another era of chaos? As the dust settles, the international community is watching with bated breath. The United Nations has called for calm and restraint, urging all parties to work towards a peaceful resolution. However, concerns about HTS's extremist ideology and human rights record linger. The future of Syria hangs in the balance, and it remains to be seen whether the transitional government can deliver on its promises of stability and peace. The coming months will be crucial in determining the course of Syria's history. What's next for Syria? The road ahead is uncertain. The new rebel-led government promises elections, reconciliation, and rebuilding the nation. But there's skepticism. HTS, once linked to al-Qaeda, now seeks to portray itself as a legitimate political force. Regional powers like Turkey, Iran, and Russia will all try to shape the future of Syria for their own interests. One thing is clear. The people of Syria have endured over a decade of suffering. They've seen their homes destroyed, families torn apart, and hope shattered. Only time will tell if Syria's future will finally bring peace. This is a pivotal moment in modern history. Assad is gone, but Syria's story is far from over. What happens next could redefine the entire Middle East. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more content, and I'll see you in the next one.